Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today the subject of my topic, or you can say the subjects of my topic, first of all is AC commands B and how does this function, and second is symmetric C command and then asymmetric C command. Then we will discuss a sentence on the basis of these structures, and we will also discuss another example as well. So what is this concept AC commands B? So what does this mean? Whenever we say that AC commands B, so we mean that we can move one step up, then we can move all the way down. For example, here, here if we say that AC commands B, what will happen? Let me draw it here for you. So first of all, we say A, all right, and then we have B here, and here we have C. So if we say that BC commands C, so what will we do? We will go one step up here from B to A, then we will go all the way down. So here we only have C, that we can say that BC commands C. So same is the case with C. So if we say that C commands B, what will we do? We will go one step up, so one step up here we get A, and then we will go down, all the way down, as much down as we want or as we can go. So here we can only go up to B. So we can also say that C commands B, right? So let me erase it. And here, in this case, first of all, I have the diagram for you, and I will discuss this diagram. And first of all, let me tell you what is the definition of AC commands, or what are the condition of AC commands B. So A will always C commands B, or you can use the different terms. You can say that X will always C commands Y, or B will always C commands C, etc. If and only if the first branching node that dominates A also dominates B. So this is the first condition. The condition is the first branching node, here we have this one as the first branching nodes. All right. In A, B, C case, we have this first branching node. So here first branching node that dominates A also dominates B. So this first branching nodes dominates B, and it also dominates C, right? So we have just changed the terms because we have different nodes, we have different labels here in the diagram than in the definition, right? So here what happens, this is the first branch, and it dominates B and it also dominates C. हम कह सकते हैं कि जो पहली branch है वो A को भी डोमिनेट कर रही है और B भी को भी कर रही है. यहाँ सिर्फ हमने A B की जगह B C लिखा हुआ है, राइट? तो कोई इस चीज़ में कंफ्यूज होने की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? सो फर्स्ट ब्रांच जहाँ पे B को डोमिनेट कर रही है वो भी वही A को C को डोमिनेट कर रही है. डज मीन कि सिस्टर्स को दोनों एक ही मदर गवर्न कर रही हो, सॉरी डोमिनेट कर रही हो. ठीक हो गया? दिस इज द फर्स्ट कंडीशन. And the second condition is A does not dominate B and B does not dominate C. So here we can see that they are not dominating each other. Like B is not dominating C and C is not dominating B, right? They both are sisters to each other, right? They are not mother and daughter, right? So only A is dominating B and C, right? B and C are not dominating each other. या उर्दू में अगर बात करूँ तो ये होगा कि यानी यहाँ सिर्फ ए और बी की जगह मैंने यहाँ बी और सी लिखा हुआ है, उस चीज़ में अगेन कंफ्यूज नहीं होना. यानी दूसरी कंडीशन ये है कि बी डोमिनेट यानी ए डोमिनेट बी को ना करे और बी डोमिनेट ए को ना करे, तब हम बोलेंगे कि इट विल बी ए सी कमांड्स बी, राइट? तो लेट मी अरेज इट and go move towards the diagram, the main diagram here. So here in this case we have the diagram: A dominates B and C, then B dominates D, E and F, then C dominates G, H and I. Keep in mind that domination is different than commands, right? So command is a different thing, A C commands is a different thing, and dominate is a different thing in this diagram or in this structure. So you have seen the conditions, two conditions here, and let us apply them here. So in this diagram, first of all, let us look at B. So which nodes B C commands here. Here B C commands. So first of all, for knowing that the C command, you will go one step up, right? So for knowing that, go one step up. Here one step up, you will find A. Then after going to one step up, you will go all the way down, right? You will go here. So here. So we can say that B C commands C and all the nodes under that umbrella. B, C commands C, G, H, and I. So I have written here as well that B, C commands C, G, H, and I. And let us look at in the other case. So let us look at C here. Uh, Here, and I will look at C. What will I have to do here? So if you want to know that what does C command here, go one step up. You cannot go two step up, right? If you will go two steps up, so it will be grammatically wrong. It is ill-formed structure, right? So here, for the sake of knowing that what does C commands here, you are going one step up and then you will go all the way down. मतलब एक step आपने ऊपर जाना है फिर नीचे आ जाना है, right? दो step आप ऊपर नहीं जा सकते. दो step ऊपर जाएंगे तो it will be wrong, syntactically, grammatically wrong. So you will go one step up, C to A, then you will go all the way down. So all the way down you find B and all the daughters of B, right? So we can say that C commands B, D, E, and F. So here it is mentioned as well. C commands B, D, E, and F. Let me erase it and find another case for you. So if you want to know that uh, what does DC commands here, so we will apply the same formula here. You will go one step up, right? So you cannot go from B to A, right? Because then you cannot go two steps upward. Up those steps nahi le sakte. You will just go one step up then down, right? So you are going one step up and one step up you are finding B, and so we can say that D C commands E and F, right? D cannot C commands B. Why? Because B is the mother of D, right? So B is the mother of D. So the daughter cannot C commands its mother, right? So daughter can C commands is you can say uh, you can say its sister and cousins, etc., nieces, all these things. But daughter cannot C commands its mother, her mother. So here D C commands E and F because E and F comes under the umbrella of D, right? Sorry, B. So if you get other terms here, you get G, H, etc. So D will also be C commanding D, E, F, G, H, etc. So I can say that D, C commands E and F here. And what does GC commands here? So again, apply the same formula, go one step up, then all the way down here. So we can say that GC commands H and I, all right? So what does HC commands here? Apply the same formula. You go one step up, you cannot go two steps up, right? So then come down and we have only one branch here, one node here. So we can say that HC commands G. And so what does IC commands here? So I, as it is at the last, if you go one step up, so let me apply the same formula for I as well. So let us move up one step up, and if you want to come down, you cannot find anything from us, right? There's only one branch or only one node that come under the canopy or under the umbrella of H. So we say that IC commands nothing. All right. So this is the formula. These are the condition for A C commands B, or you can say X C commands Y, or B C commands D, etc. I hope you have understood it well. Let us move our attentions towards symmetric C command or asymmetric C command. First of all, we just checked normal C command above in the diagram in the aforementioned slide, right? Or the slide which I've earlier discussed in the lecture. So in the symmetric C command, what happens when XC commands Y and YC commands X, right? So both the branches are C commanding each other. For example, here if B is X, if you consider it X and you consider C as Y, so we can say that here X C commands Y and Y C commands X, right? So because if you go upward, then downwards you will say you just find one branch, one node under this. You can say that B C commands C. This is the same formula which we discussed in the previous page, right? So C commands B. So symmetric command symmetric C command is such C command where X C commands Y and Y C commands X both, right? Or you can say that B C commands C or C commands B. And what is asymmetric C command? Asymmetric C command is such C command in which you can say that X C commands Y or Y C commands X, but not both. So in this type of C commands, only X will C command Y or Y will C command X, right? Or you can say that B will C command C, or C will C command B, right? They both will not C command each other like here, right? In the symmetric C command, we find that both X and Y C commands each other, but in this asymmetric C commands, we find that they both do not command each other. They only one X or Y commands each other. Only X will command C command Y or Y will C command X. So let us look at the example here. Here in this example, A, B, C, and D, E. What happens here? We see that in this diagram, here B, C commands C, D, E, but D does not C commands B. How? Let me discuss the diagram here. Here BC command CDE. How? You are going one step up, then all the way down, right? Everything that comes under A. So BC command CDE, etc. We can say that BC command CDE. But if we look at D, at the case of D, so let us go one step up. So one step up, you cannot go again another step, right? You cannot take two steps here. So if you go one step up, you will have to come down. And if you come down, you will only say that D C command C, but D does not C command B, right? It cannot C commands B, but B can C commands D. यानी B D को C command कर रहा है, लेकिन D इसको नहीं कर सकता C command. So this is why we can say that it is asymmetric C command. Let us check these examples like grammatically and also in the form of some words as well, in syntax as well. In syntax, reflexive mean reflexive pronoun like herself, himself, yourself, themselves, ourself, etc. And just reciprocals like each other, one another, etc. They are always C commanded by their antecedent. Antecedent comes, you can say that they precede the other pronouns, or they precede reflexive, they precede reciprocals in a sentence, and they also have some sort of relation with reflexives, with reciprocals, right? And what happens, what do they do? They always see commands. These reciprocals, these reflexives, they will always see command their antecedent. So if you look at this example here, subject has two branches, that's noun phrase and verb phrase. And in the noun phrase, I just draw this triangle. Why? Because I didn't extracted two branches from this noun phrase, one for determiner and another for noun, because I just assumed that both the determiner and the noun, they are sitting inside this triangle, right? So I just used this triangle for, and I didn't use two branches out of, I didn't take out two branches out of NP. So the voice is here, you can say antecedent, and verb phrase is pinched, and noun phrase again we have each other, or you can say this is also reciprocal. So we can say that this each other, it C commands the voice, right? Because it has some relation with this each, the boys have some relation with this each other, right? But in some cases we do not, they do not see command each other, and what happened there, because they belong to two different classes. So let me show you those cases as well. So here, for example, in this sentence, my uncle hurts himself. Of course, the reflexing pronoun himself is bound indexed to my uncle. But how do we understand this, or rather, how do we think the mind must have processed this idea? First, quite clearly, the mind must be indexing the two variants of the nouns. My uncle is noun phrase 1 and himself is noun phrase 2. In this case, noun phrase 1, that is my uncle, is the antecedent of himself. All right, so this my uncle is the antecedent of reflexive noun or reflexive himself. So we can say that they are co-indexed. So they are used or arranged together, right? They are co-indexed. We can say that they are co-indexed and give them the same number so that we know they refer to the same person. So we are giving them the same number, that is noun phrase 1 and here noun phrase 2, so that we can tell the readers that they refer to the same person, because himself we refer to my uncle, right? To the same person. So we will denote them with 1. So here I will say use 1 for my uncle and 1 for himself as well, because we will show that they refer to the same person. The noun, the two noun phrases are co-indexed, are bound with each other. The antecedent is the binder of the reflex. So we can say that these noun phrases are co-indexed and they are bound with each other, whereas the antecedent is the binder of the reflexes as well. So my uncle is the antecedent, so we can say that it is the binder of the reflexive himself as well. There are barriers to binding also. Sometimes you will see barriers as well. For instance, look at the following sentence. We will discuss this case in the binding theory in the next lectures in detail, right? So I'm just, you can say, paving the way for that binding theory here. There are barriers as well. For example, my uncle thinks that I have hurt myself. So here the reflexive himself is not locally bound. So we can say that it is not locally bound with my uncle. Why? The antecedent uncle is too far from it and it is not in the same class. Why? Because this my uncle is too far from himself, from, you can say, reflexive. And first thing is that it is too far from it, and the second thing is it is not even in the same class, because this is different class. This is class number 2 and this is class number 1. So we have two classes here, but here in this sentence we had only one class. So we can say that they co-indexed each other, or the antecedent is binding the reflexive, because they can be found in only one class here. But in this case there are two classes, so we cannot say that they locally bind each other, or we cannot say that antecedent bind the reflexive here. To bind the reflexive, the antecedent must be in the same class. So this is important. So if you want the antecedent to bind the reflexive, you should keep them both in one class. This is known as the classmate condition. So this condition is known as, here, when you keep both the antecedent and the reflexive in one class, this condition is known as classmate condition. So we will discuss them in detail in the tomorrow's lecture, and we will discuss the principle of reflexive interpretation, as you can say, binding theory as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any question, please do ask.